Okay. Look, we've got about close to 50% of the viewers here, so we might just make a start. You know, by the time we get through the introduction, you know, hopefully everyone will be here for when Sevan presents. So, everyone, thank you for joining us today. I'm Andre Vartan. This is Mariam, and we're here today to hear from some of the most important organizations in Armenia that are taking care of the big task of diasporans around the world in Armenia. And we have some really great people here to hear from. And also we'll be recording this session as sort of an ongoing like library piece that people can refer to with the sort of specific Australia focus that'll come up at points. Basically, Mariam and I are from an organization called Kaitzak. It's the first global platform inspired by pillars of positive psychology, which is dedicated to building a healthy diaspora. So you'll come to understand why events like this we think are really important. We're also now a registered charity as of last week, which is a big thing because we've got our tax exemption, which was, yeah, big relief. Don't have to do any more reporting to the tax office, which no one wants to do. This is, yeah, so predominantly run by myself and Mariam at this time. We also have another director, Elizabeth, and an advisory board that we talk to. Just a quick, my community profile: grew up in Sydney, now live in Melbourne, involved in, you know, a lot of the community organizations, and then moved to get involved in Armenia through the High Commissioner's Office, which then I participated in the Youth Ambassador program last year, where we got to meet a lot of these organizations and their directors face to face, which was really nice. It's like meeting celebrities, people you've seen online for many years, and get to see them in person, which is awesome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mariam Varadian. I was born in New York City. I moved to Armenia for 3 years. Now I'm in Australia. I have a Master of Applied Positive Psychology degree from the University of Pennsylvania. I'm a researcher, writer, and I've engaged in different kinds of volunteering, story time, read alouds in schools, and also in bookstores like Zangak in Armenia. So Kaitzak, as Andre mentioned, is committed to building a healthy diaspora. And for us, this is the model that we employ. So one of the key things is a good governance, healthy governance model. We also focus on things like cultural advancement, and specifically something that we're going to be talking about today, which is linked to homeland. So some of the ways that we do this is through carrying out research. We also work with other global communities and weave that into our model. And we cooperate with important existing groups that are doing really crucial work. And so today's webinar for ZapTalks is going to be focused on this link to the homeland, and it really covers a lot of these bases that is essential for our model.
Yeah, and so on that vein, we're working with other groups in Armenia currently, and basically looking at cultural advancement and reconciliation through our different modes. Which you guys can learn more about on the website. We obviously won't go through it now. Yeah, lots about Armenia, lots about diaspora, and a lot of stories that are starting to piece together something that a lot of the presenters here today know very well, but helping people who haven't been to Armenia really understanding what it means to be in the diaspora, and what it means to move to Armenia and things like that. So yeah, now we hand over to our speakers. These are four major institutions of Armenia. Been around for such a long time, been around through so many different changes that the country's gone through, and yeah, we're really excited and honoured to have them speaking with us here today. So I will just just very quickly, just housekeeping. There's ability to ask questions. If you could sort of write into the chat or go using the Q&A function. If you have a question, you could sort of specify which organization it's sort of most linked to. We can then go through them at the end, and obviously you can reach out with anything else at hello@kaitzak.com.au, or respective organizations' contacts and their websites. We'll share that with everyone.
Okay, shall we get started, Andre, from my side?
Yes, please.
Excellent, excellent. Good Aussie friends, great to be here and great to be connecting with you. I think they've given me only 5 minutes. I'll promise that I'll be here for only 4 minutes. And then one of our alumni, Anaheed, who's again a native of Australia, she'll talk about her personal experience through the organization. But whatever we say, don't believe us. What's really important is for you to come and join us here and really kind of understand for yourself all the blah, blah, blah that we're going to talk to you about. So I apologize that you're walking into winter and we're walking into the summer here. So, but I know that Australian winters are not as harsh as the winters over here, but even the harsh winters here is what it's all about. You know, get out of the comfort zone, you know, come and learn how to wear a jacket and stay warm in the winter as well. So let's get started. I'm not the best here at the technical stuff here, but we did this once, so I hope this works. Fingers crossed here. Is this working?
Yeah, it's shared. Just got to get the window, the presentation up. Yeah, awesome.
Okay, all right. A lot of you might have heard about Birthright Armenia before from participants, alumni, and so on. And basically, friends, what we're talking about, as Andre mentioned, one of the 3 pillars of Kaitzak is you know, the connection with the homeland. And the definition of understanding the Armenian identity and so on cannot be really completed unless you have this meaningful connection and engagement with Armenia. And Birthright Armenia is that, you know, facilitation vehicle for you not to know anyone in Armenia, not to know the language, not to have any connections here, and that the support system that we provide is basically, you know, an easy avenue to come and understand Armenia. So we started about 21 years ago, about 3,000 alumni, including about 40 or so from Australia in our past, and we're looking to get the next 40, and you have to be part of that group. Birthright Armenia is a year-round program, not a summer, not a winter, not a seasonal program. You can come whenever you want, you can leave whenever you want. And it's not coming to Armenia for 10 days of tourism, even though we all love tourism, and that's what most people do because they don't have more time. It's about a bit longer term engagement, growth, personal growth, professional growth, gaining experience. As you see here, you know, engaging with the country, learning, contributing through your skills. So as people are looking for, you know, their first job opportunity maybe, or they already have experiences and they want to come and share it with Armenia, Birthright Armenia is the perfect tool for you to come for the non-tourism, for the actual living the local life as much as possible model. So regardless of what background you have, what you've studied, what your experiences are, come and engage with Armenia professionally, add to your resume, build your profile. People would love to see for their next hiree who is the applicant, and what they see on your application that you've been to another country for a few months and you've done professional work over there, that becomes the topic of your next interview. So Birthright Armenia is not just, you know, coming and seeing Armenia as a visitor, as an outsider. It's also that important professional growth, that important personal growth, and understanding Armenia with all of its long-term implications. So 30 hours a week of volunteering / internships, some of it's social volunteering, some of it's more professional internships. We do excursions, we have language classes, we have a very, very full program. So talking about the program, again, fully organized. You don't have to know anyone in Armenia. You don't have to look for what you're going to be doing in Armenia. All you do is just apply to us and we do all the rest for you. Internships are 30 hours a week. And again, internships, volunteering, we put it under one package. Some of it is a professional internship. If you want to do the social volunteering or a combination, it's possible. Once a week, we take you outside of the main cities. We do the excursions. A lot of it is non-touristic. You can't find it on any tourism agency website. We do very unique things. We have our lecture series called the forums. We have our gatherings called the Havaks, bringing the experts, talking about different parts of the different sectors of the country, different domains, what's going on in economics, healthcare, nonprofit sector, and so on, all about education, all about understanding the country from a deeper purpose. The Havaks are the more informal cuisine nights, museum visits, group discussions, and so on. Networking is very important. People come by themselves. People come not knowing anyone. They get picked up by our driver at the airport. They know no one. Within 2 weeks, they have a community of peers already around them. So it's an amazing community of support, Birthright Armenia. We have Armenian language classes, so there's no requirement to know Armenian before coming here. About a third of our participants come without knowing any Armenian or very little Armenian. So language, lack of language knowledge, Armenian knowledge, is not a preventive factor. Just come to Armenia, open mind, open spirit, open heart, lots of energy, and just throw yourself into the country. There's a community of support around you. We provide host families, our own selected host families for you to live with. If someone wants to do a rental, you can do that. If someone has local relative, they can choose that as well. What we provide are the host family living options. Our selected families, you cannot find them on booking.com or Airbnb. And then Birthright Armenia isn't just about the months of volunteering. Once that finishes and you become an alumni, life is ahead. Every participant with us is a young person. Life is ahead. How do you keep engaging with Armenia? What are the next ideas? What are the next plans? You'll hear from Anaheed and her start as a volunteer and her status now as an alumni. So the path is open. It just takes your curiosity, your level of adventure to just, roll up your sleeves and just dive in. And it's an office full of support, 24 hours, personal illness, experiential, things that need attention, need adjustments. We share your highlights, you share your highlights. It's a big community here. No one is ever left alone. And we provide financial benefits on the Birthright Armenia side. Australia is on the other side of the world. And travel from Australia to Armenia nowadays is costing 2,000 AUD or even more for a round trip ticket. The financial benefit of providing airplane ticket cost coverage is an important factor. Some people can't really afford that. So why not, apply to Birthright Armenia and we cover financially even your airplane ticket cost. So here you see 9 to 14 weeks of volunteering. We cover 50% of the airplane ticket cost, 50% of the cost of living with the host family. You stay for more than 14 weeks, we cover up to 100% of each category. So your lodging expenses, the bulk of it, your travel expenses to and from Armenia, we cover that. No other organization in the world that does that. Definitely in the Armenian sector, they don't do that. You want to go volunteer in Machu Picchu or Peru or Venezuela or wherever, they're going to charge you a lot of money, plus you're going to pay for your airplane ticket. Why not come in a supportive environment, including the financial support with Birthright Armenia? Longer term stays, we even cover a monthly stipend to make it more affordable. For those who can't do the minimum 9-week regular program, we have the Birthright Light program. That's for working professionals with full-time jobs. They can't do more than 4 weeks. So the 4 to 9 weeks is the light version, more than 19 weeks, including the financial benefit part that comes in is the regular program, staying up to 1 year. A lot of volunteers come and they actually extend their stays by virtue of what they're actually experiencing. The application process is pretty simple. Online, you go to our website, there it is, birthrightarmenia.org. You see apply now, short registration, and then the application form. Our staff, Diana, will specifically support you as you go through the application process. We do an interview. You become much more familiar. We get to see each other. We get to talk to each other and understand your motivations, what you want to do, and so on. Year-round program, we encourage people to apply to the program as soon as possible. We even have people who are here in country, they hear about us and they say, can I apply for the program? So whereas the 2-month advanced application is something that we encourage. We're very flexible. That's the name of the game, and people apply while they're here, and they want to start as quickly as possible. So we're very flexible. A very flexible program. No start dates, no end dates. Come when you want, leave when you want, extend your stay. Completely flexible. Year-round, again, we're in Yerevan, we're in Gyumri, in Vanatsor. We encourage people to be in different places. Anaheed will talk about her experiences outside of Yerevan. And my friends, follow us on social media. We're everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and all of it. Here's our amazing QR code. So if you want to get your phones out and go to our registration page, which you see over here as well, you can do that. Otherwise, my friends, this is just the beginning of our conversation and communication. Our email is here, our website is here. Contact us through social media. We are eagerly waiting. Armenia needs more people, more engagement, more involvement. Don't overthink this. Just jump into it. You will not regret. Thank you. Signing off.
Should I start? Oh, okay, cool. Right. Well, I'm basically here to share with you guys all about what happens when you do Birthright as a volunteer. So I'm just going to fill in a lot of things on top of what Sevan has said. My name is Anaheed. My profession is fashion design. So when I applied for Birthright, actually I had just recently lost my job because of COVID. Funnily enough, I was in Mariam City. So she now lives in Sydney, all the way from New York. I now live in Gyumri, and I went Sydney, New York, Gyumri. Really weird, but it happens. It's actually a really great way to do things. So I saw what was happening with Kaitzak, with Armenia in 2020, towards the end of 2020, and I said, I have to go. Because there was nothing really that I could see myself continuously doing from Sydney at the time. I burnt myself out completely trying to do things from overseas, and I thought I'm better if I go directly there. But how to go directly there when you got no money left and you're like, I don't understand. Move to Armenia. I've been there several times. I've done stuff there several times, but how do I do this? So that was when I remembered I've had a few friends do Birthright. Actually, the first person that ever spoke to me about Birthright was Saro Karadanian. That was a long time ago. I was a young teenager when I heard him first talk about Birthright. I was 28 when I decided to do it. So it's just about, you need to have these things come up maybe several times before you get up and do it. In my case, that was the timing in which I did it. So I was applying. I was super lucky. I wanted to come to Gyumri. I didn't want to come to Yerevan. I wanted to use the fact that I know the language to push myself and try a place that really needed me at the time, and definitely still does. So I came here. I got really lucky, like I said, with my job sites. The team were amazing. They really understood what I wanted. And even sometimes when there were jobs that were recommended to me and I tried it, I was like, no, actually, I prefer what I was doing, or I prefer maybe trying something else. So they're really open to letting you choose, so long as you can prove that, okay, what I'm doing is important. For me, I knew I wanted to stay. A lot of people in my life didn't believe that was going to happen, but I knew that's what I was doing. So I was choosing to do certain job sites, knowing that I'm going to meet people and learn from people that will help me understand Gyumri better and help me understand what is my role in the creative, in the fashion industry here. So that was very cool. I recommend to people, be vigilant with your job sites. If you don't like something, change it. Don't complain that you got put somewhere and you're not enjoying it. That's up to you to make it better. You have to be able to, even if you're 21 or you're 31, it doesn't make a difference. You have to make your choices, right? So that's some useful advice. But other than this, I would say that the homestay, it's like, for me, non-negotiable. I got moved a couple of times even because, yeah, I was older, and I think being technically like my own woman in Gyumri and then someone telling me how I'm supposed to live in their house, that was hard. So that was definitely a challenge, but you got to overcome that as well. That's a learning. And I liked that learning. So eventually when I did get put into a house I really wanted to stay in, I loved it because they taught me things I don't know. I'm one of the most integrated Armenian diaspora community members you can find. Like, you would tell yourself if you're me that I know everything about being Armenian, but what we don't know is what it's like to be Armenian for the past, 70 plus years while there was a Russian empire, essentially. And that got taught to me by my host family. And I understood them, and I got to sit in their shoes because of choosing to live there as opposed to trying to live by myself or some other option. So I really recommend the host families to everybody, whether it's in Yerevan, Banat, or Gyumri. I don't know a lot of people who have bad experiences, to be honest. It's very few situations where you're just not gonna fit in that way of doing things. But as Sevan said, if you have limitations financially, if you have the opportunity to come for a longer period of time, Birthright is fantastic. You get a lot of those costs covered. I only needed a bit of savings to be able to go out on weekends and to feel good that, okay, I'm in Armenia, I'm spending money, I'm supporting the economy. That was what I needed money for. But actually getting a chance to fly and to stay with the host family and a lot of other things, over time, Birthright does that for you. So it's kind of a non-negotiable, smart idea. I also really believe in the networking aspect. Yeah, okay, a lot of us are really good at networking, or at least I'm personally very good at networking, but Birthright and that community of AVC and Birthright together launches you into meeting so many people that really, whether it's for your resume or for your own personal life, it's phenomenal. It's something that no other organization is offering to you, right? Some of my favorite friends, were actually AVC people because they did learn the language out of nowhere. I was so inspired by that. I was like, you can do that? I would be so scared to learn Armenian at this point in my life. It's hard. But people did that because they like it and they care, and that's what they've traveled out of their country for. So I really thought about, in reflection of my Birthright volunteer experience, even if I didn't stay, it was like traveling the world because you met so many people all in one place. And I still do, even living in Gyumri, much to many people's surprise, it's quite an international spot. You get people randomly passing here all the time. So my life is enriched in a way that it just would not have been had I have stayed in Sydney. I feel like that's maybe the most I can say without overdoing it. Then maybe somebody has some questions.
Yeah, that's amazing. Great story. I can't actually see any questions right now, but if anyone has any questions, just, if you think of them throughout, just write them in the Q&A and we can get to that, or in the chat. Yeah, so thanks, Anaheed. That was so good. And I think we're passing over now to Arina from Armenian Volunteer Corps.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. Give me 1 second to share my presentation. Okay. Let me know when you guys see the presentation. Okay, yep. Good. Yep. So let me start by quickly mentioning that back in 2002, I decided to embark on what was meant to be a one-year volunteering stint in Armenia. Even though I'm ethnically Armenian and I grew up in Iran, we left for the US at a pretty early age. So from the age of 6, my parents tried to immerse us very, very deeply into more American culture, a little bit fearful that perhaps, it would be too difficult of an adjustment if we're, being raised Armenian, but then American in the classroom. So I wasn't too quote unquote Armenian in the US. I went to university in Montreal and then joined the Armenian Students Association and became a lot more interested in all things Armenia and Armenians. And then embarked on what was meant to be a one-year experience. And back then, ABC was founded in 2000 with the first set of volunteers coming in 2001. I was in group 2. I'm still in Armenia, so it's been 23 years. It was a completely transformative experience. And I realized as a diasporan that, we all can create lives, very successful lives, because Armenians are brilliant anywhere in the world. But Armenia needs us here more than any other country. So that's guilt trip number 1. Now, Birthright was founded in 2004, and they are doing an amazing job of bringing in the younger 21 to 32-year-old diasporans. We're focusing on the friends of the younger diasporans who are coming alongside either their peers or finding out about ABC individually, separately, and about 60% of our volunteers, as an FYI, are non-Armenian. But we also focus on the older diasporans. And I love how I have no idea how to go to the next slide. Here we go. So we have 3 different cores. One is the junior core, which, as I mentioned, is the younger non-Armenians between the ages of 21 to 31. And then starting from our professional core and including our senior core, we're seeing more and more diasporans coming in to really, as I always like to say, share their brains, share their expertise, share their passion with Armenia. And unlike Birthright Armenia, we have lower time commitments. So the minimum for our younger audience of non-Armenians is 1 month, but for our professional core and senior core, we do have shorter visits of 2 weeks all the way up to 1 year. Typically, we find anyone who comes, I think, as Sevan mentioned, you have a lot of people who end up coming for shorter visits, but then they keep extending because Armenia has this magic. Whether you're Armenian or whether you're not Armenian, it sort of sucks its teeth into you and figures out a way to really make you want to stay. So those are our different cores. And this May, we're actually welcoming the mother of 2 Birthright volunteers, who I think one has already started and one will be joining in May. So we see a lot more family connections, people who are doing Birthright with their parents doing ABC at the same time, which is sort of for us, a beautiful story. We offer the same exact support services. There's a lot of full support. We do the airport pickup. There's the option for affordable host families. Now, Anaheed very sort of funnily mentioned it's not easy being a 28-year-old and going to live with a host family. Well, imagine you're in your 60s and trying to stay with a host family. I think, Anaheed, you've met Kevin Horst, who's in Gyumri right now and living with a host family. And it's a very interesting experience. And one funny story is we had this woman from Canada, Kathleen, who came in her 60s. And after the end of any volunteering, we do a debrief to find out how that experience went. And she was speaking about her experience with the host family, saying it was wonderful, it was good. She wishes this, she wishes that. So, a little bit of constructive criticism. We just found out last week that she published a book for which the illustrations have been done by her host sister. She doesn't call her a host mom because I think she was older than her host sister. We do the Armenian language classes, and Anaheed mentioned we have some non-Armenians who, end up sounding more Armenian than even I do. They have less of an accent. We offer very affordable health insurance and also the support. God forbid anyone needs to go see a doctor, any issues arise, we're here to support each and every single person. So as, Sevan mentioned, no one is alone when they're here. They not only have the network of the other volunteers, but they also have the staff supporting the weekly excursions, the forums, the different meetings, and then obviously becoming an active alum. And we have more and more of our older volunteers coming back year after year to volunteer. In terms of how to join, there is an application process. Unlike Birthright Armenia, ABC is fully self-financed, so volunteers are covering, the entire cost of their being here. But, with the host families and things like that, it does end up being a much more affordable trip than if people are just coming as a tourist. We have a lot of amazing stories on our blog that feature, some of, what some of our senior core, professional core, junior core volunteers have done. And it's a great way for you guys to go in. We've unfortunately had a much smaller number of Australians who have, come to Armenia to volunteer. But we are, like Sevan, not hoping for a double, but maybe triple or quadrupling that number within a week or two. So we'll make sure that, yeah, I don't know how old the audience is here, but we'll hope that you'll talk to your parents because it looks like you guys are younger. So I think that's it from my end. Our website is armenianvolunteer.org. Once you guys go there, everything is based there. So thank you so much. And let me stop sharing with you guys. Done.
Yeah, awesome.
Hi, guys.
Amazing.
Yes. So I think now we're moving to Vartan, Repat Armenia.
Me or Tamara?
Hi, Vartan. You want to go first?
No, I would like to be the last one, if possible.
Oh, okay. So Tamara, hi, Armenia.
Hi, guys. Tamara, Office and Outreach Manager from Hike Armenia. I would like to call us the Batman of Armenia because our name is not exactly what we do in general. Hike Armenia represents more than just hiking in Armenia. Our legal name is Development of Ecotourism and Promoting of Armenia. So this means that what we do, I'll start sharing first before I continue. I'm also not very tech savvy here, so bear with me. I think this is it. Share. Okay. Do you see, guys?
Yep.
Present. Yeah, I think you should be able to see it now. Can everyone see?
Yeah, that's all good.
Okay. So we develop the ecotourism in Armenia, and we also do promotional work to promote Armenia as a hiking destination, which also works in the favor of ecotourism, of course. And how we do it is we build trails, we maintain the trails. We have over 50 built trails and over 70 published trails on our website and on our app. We also do homestay development programs where we also help local homeowners to become homestay where people can stay during their hikes. And we also have a community development program, which is an educational hiking club, so to speak, where young locals and not only can join to learn about hiking culture in Armenia specifically. We also do trail maintenance together with this group. So it works both ways, actually. We also have our information center in the center of Yerevan, 5 Vartanan Street, where we provide everything related to hiking and outdoor activities. We work together with hiking guides, other accommodations that are not only on our website, but all our services that we can offer anyone coming to Armenia that can make their stay here and their visit to Armenia more enjoyable. We do that from our office or our information center in the center of Yerevan. And I would also like to mention that starting from, I think, 2023, sorry, what just happened? I click on the wrong button. Okay, starting from 23, we have started to create Armenian National Trail, which is a big thing for Armenia because it's going to go from Ahtala to Mehri, almost 1,000 kilometers long. And the fun part of this trail is that it's going to be a village-to-village trail, which means that you don't need your heavy backpacks and you don't need to do long, multi-day trails. You can just pick one village and have your backpack with you, a small backpack, and go hike Armenia, see Armenia. But you can also do the whole thing, 1,000 kilometers long. The lorry part is already ready. We're hoping in 2 or 3 years, the whole thing will be good to go. So basically, that's all what we do here in collaboration with all organizations here in Armenia that have something to do with hiking, ecotourism, or outdoor tourism in general.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Tamara. And now, yeah, we'll move to Vartan from Repat Armenia.
So I'll try to be quick in turning on my presentation. Yeah, so my name is Vartan. I moved to Armenia in 2010. And in 2012, a group of repatriates and diasporans established an organization for repatriates. So with a bigger goal of having a high impact brain gain repatriation. I believe switch. Okay. So we do provide a personalized assistance to people who consider moving to Armenia or already moved to Armenia, which is online or offline consultations on a tete-a-tete basis. We have a full repatriation guidebook in 3 languages. It's 130 pages about key procedures related to moving and living in Armenia. We do provide employment support, business consulting. We have Armenian language classes for people who don't speak the language or would like to switch from Western to Eastern Armenian, or even those who speak the language, but they need to upgrade it to be more competitive on the Armenian market. We have a business Armenian component. We have a special medical insurance package, which is called with Nairi Insurance. We recently also launched Roots and Routes concierge service, which is basically providing you a personalized assistance with different procedures you're going through, opening a bank account, going to public sector institutions, enrolling your kids with the kindergarten or schools, and many, many other things. So we are trying to help you with the soft landing process and with getting your first experience in the country as positive as possible. And when I say we, it's not only Repat Armenia and our staff, but we also have a big Armenian repatriates network, a network of people who already moved to Armenia and are ready to share with their both professional but also life experience to assist you in adaptation. We organize around 30 different types of integration events, mostly in the country, which is informal get-to-know meetups where you are able to meet with different repatriates from different countries. We have joint orientation meetings with the Public Repatriation Integration Center, where we introduce all available programs, both the government ones and non-government ones for repatriates, with interesting meet and greet events, with different introductions and discussions on topics, a wide variety of topics. We organize discovery tours where we introduce not the regions, not from the touristic point of view, but from the point of view of a potential living spot and the infrastructure available for that. We also organize different types of trainings and workshops specifically designed for repatriates. And the last but not the least, we organize Engage Armenia forums abroad, where we go with a team of inspirational speakers. And by the way, Sevan and Arina are active participants of Engage Armenia forums. And we introduce a big variety of engagement opportunities for diasporans living abroad. Basically, that's it. The only thing which I would like to say at the end of it is if you just think about moving to Armenia, if it's just an idea, not necessarily already pre-planned or a thing that you are ready to do, we are happy to start working with you, answering your questions, connecting with people who might provide you a guidance, relevant support, plus institutions and programs that might be a good first step, like ABC and Birthright, for you, to test the waters and then decide if you want to stay in Armenia or not, or if we are planning just to increase your, interaction with online. That's it. The only thing in the end is to mention is that there are 9 different ways of diaspora's engagement with homeland according to international classification, and repatriation is the highest one of them. It's Ararat, it's 5,165. It's not for everyone, but everyone can try, everyone can, permanently challenge himself in order to increase his level of engagement with homeland, because at the end of the day, I fully believe, and my team believe that even if you don't move to Armenia, if you are not Armenia-centered, Armenia as a country, it will be very difficult to stay Armenian worldwide, and it's really both beneficial for you and the homeland. Thank you.
Yeah, So yeah, that concludes our main presentations. Just before we get to some of the questions in the Q&A, if people don't know how to write a question, there's because there's no comment section, there's a little icon that's changed recently. It used to look different. Now it's 9 dots. And you click on that, and then there's a Q&A option with a question mark if you want to write in. So yeah, just want to firstly say a huge thank you to all the presenters being here and giving their time to present these initiatives to the Australian community. And it's really, I think what we've seen basically is that you have a group of people who've been working for decades to create an infrastructure that's comfortable as much as possible for people from the diaspora to move there, to have friends, to have work prospects, if you want to start a business. However you're thinking of going to Armenia, there's an option for you, and there's people there who really care and will help you do that. So I think that's a really big thing that we get as Armenian diasporans by default, which is amazing. So the first question we've got here, it's directed at AVC. Hi guys, my question is about Senior Corps. What type of volunteering is required from us?
So that's actually a great question. Thank you to Arthur. We customize placements among our 1,600 plus partner organizations. This is true both for Birthright and for ABC. So the way that it works would be, you do the application, you submit an application, and we do an interview. And part of the interview, we ask you, what's your background, but what are you interested in? So I'll give you an example of Vartan Yesenyan, who's in here for his 3rd time volunteering. He has a background in engineering. And he came to us in the first year when he applied to volunteer and said, I don't want to work in my profession. That's it. I've done what I've done as an engineer. I now want to focus on things that I'm passionate about, photography, writing. And so he is writing for CivilNet. He is doing photography for a number of different organizations. So the type of volunteering is really dependent on what you want. So if you want to work in, if you want to support organizations doing what it is you have experience in, then that is what we will customize. If you want to try some new fields, you have passions and hobbies that you'd like to, consider doing as a volunteer, then we can do, something in that field as well. And most of our volunteers end up, supporting a number of different organizations. So it's very possible that you could be doing something in your field of expertise, but then also doing things that you're passionate about as a volunteer as well.
Yeah, awesome. We don't have any other questions right now. But just very quickly, just hearing Arena speak, I just realized that on my first trip to Armenia when I was about 19, it would have been almost 15 years ago, there was a Birthright alum called Tavit Garapetyan from Australia. I don't know if you guys know him. And I'd never met him before. And this is just give an understanding of some of that like culture that you go into. I'd never met him before, and he'd heard that I was traveling to Armenia. So he came and picked me up from the airport, and he took me to Repat like 5 in the morning. And the first people and first place I went to was the offices, just the AVC and the Birthright offices. And while I wasn't doing Birthright, he basically took me to that office, and I immediately met, about 20 people who were there from AYF, I think from the United States. And those people that I just met exactly through this avenue are people I still am in contact with and people I still see when I go to Armenia. And it was just, yeah. So it's such a incredible way of just making friends and meeting people too. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah,
thanks everyone so much. That made me think about, as someone who lived in Armenia for 3 years, I personally benefited a lot from Repat Armenia's resources, whether just moving there for the first time, attending like networking events. So they host a lot of in-person events, so you can meet people, connect with different organizations, people going through similar challenges, or even exciting things that you may not have heard about. So having a community of people to learn from and to sort of ease some of that initial unknowing and uncertainty is really helpful. So if someone is thinking about moving, definitely use any and all of these resources that we discussed today.
Okay. Well, I think then we can end the seminar. Thanks everyone for joining, and thank you to all the speakers. And yeah, it looks like we've done in record time. So congratulations, everyone.
Mhm.
If anyone wants to say anything before we close on.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you, Australia, for welcoming us.
Thank you, guys.
See you all in Armenia.
Thanks so much. Yes, see
Definitely.
you all there.
Thanks for organizing. Let's continue the conversation, folks.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.